Do your speakers make too much bass? Well, if you have big speakers in a smallish room, you could have a problem. I mean, you could have big speakers in a fairly large room and have bass problems, but big speakers in small rooms can be tricky. But whatever it is, if you have too much bass coming out of your speakers, it's an issue. Now, I have lived with that problem when I lived in Manhattan. I live in Brooklyn now. When I lived in Manhattan, I had an apartment on 71st and Broadway, and the listening room was 11 by 18 feet. And the floors were concrete, you know, wood finish over concrete. The walls were concrete, so the bass that was in that room stayed in that room. So it wasn't an issue with neighbors, it was an issue with me, that there were severe resonances in that room, around, as I recall, 50 or 60 or 70 hertz. So anytime there was bass in that region, which is pretty common for there to be bass in that region, it got too thick and just definition went to hell. And I tried doing different things. I tried moving the speakers. And actually this is when I had Snell A speakers, and Peter Snell was still alive, and he actually came one night and tried to help me with that problem. And basically what he did was he pulled the speakers way out from the wall behind him at the far end. So they were maybe, I don't know, 4 feet when before I had them, I don't know, 10 inches or so. And that helped. But the problem was there, it just was reduced in magnitude. And the other trick, other than the obvious of pulling the speakers away from the wall as much as possible, is for you, the listener, to get further away from the wall behind you. So the closer you are to the speakers and the further away the speakers are from the wall behind them, the less bass they're going to produce, but the bass they produce will tend to be flatter. Now every room is different. Acoustic issues are really, really tricky to nail down. But too big a speaker for too small a room, especially as the room dimensions start to approach, even, you know, if you lived in a cube, if you had a 12-foot cube, you would be in audio hell. You know, that's like a concrete cube. That would be audio hell. It would be, the bass would be just booming away in that space. But if you had a room like mine that was 11 feet wide and 8 feet tall, again, those numbers are close enough to cause reinforcement at those frequencies. So it's an issue. Now the thing that is interesting is that with woofers, with subwoofers, you can, you know, stick them in a corner or put them on the center of the long wall or the short wall, and, you know, deal with that issue a little more easily, because you're controlling, you know, their low pass and the high pass of the speaker, so you sort of can work around resonance issues a little easier. Not completely, but you can, there's more fudge room there. Big speakers in small rooms, that's an issue. Now I solved the problem by getting rid of the Snell A's, and I had a succession of smaller speakers. One of them was called a Simdex Sigma, which kind of looked like a little miniature Snell A. It was a completely different company. And that's a story for another time. But once I got speakers that didn't put out a lot of energy, you know, in that range of 50 to 60 hertz, the problem was reduced. It's automatic. So that's one way around it. I also had EPOS ES14 speakers in that room. Is it ES? Something 14 speakers in that room, and some other small speakers. But big rooms, big speakers in smallish rooms like that, be careful. If you're just getting into this, try to avoid that. I mean, one of the advantages of small rooms is small speakers can sound really good in small to mid-sized rooms like that. So don't go overboard buying a speaker that's too big for your space. And if you guys have had issues with big speakers in smaller rooms, leave your comments and ideas below. If you like this sort of thing and want to subscribe to this YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. I almost forgot to say that. My name is Steve Guttenberg, your host, and I'm here every freaking day dispensing just incredibly valuable information for almost nothing, or nothing usually, right? So if you do want to contribute to keep this amazing thing going, that would be wonderful. And here's where to go to try to do that. And there's a site called Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/audiophiliac, and you will find my smiling face there, greeting you and just giving you all sorts of amazing ideas. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you again soon.